Introductions. Introducing yourself, introducing your business. What does that mean? I want you to think about right now how you currently introduce your business, whether it's at a meetup, some kind of event, maybe it's a random happenstance conversation. How do you introduce your business, introduce yourself, your title? And then I want you to think about how you would introduce yourself if you were in the kind of success that you're expecting from your business. How would you introduce what you do? How would you hold yourself? What would you say in order to define what you do at your absolute best? Picture what success for your business looks like. What does that niche look like? What does that revenue look like? What does your title look like? And then picture yourself introducing your business that way. It's a really, really great feeling, really great thought. I want you to hold on to that because by the end of today, I want you to feel like you can introduce your business that way. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Hayden Loudenbach. I have been in the solopreneur space for a decade now. Only the last couple years I've had my wonderful, beautiful, extremely intelligent wife to help me out in what I'm doing. But for the majority of the time, complete solopreneurship. I started off in the Midwest. I started in Illinois, actually southern Illinois, just outside of the greater St. Louis area. So it's a really interesting mix of having that city life right next door while still having the cornfields as your neighbor at the same time. And where I really got my start was as a much younger person. In 2016, 2017, I started helping small businesses start Facebooks, build websites, get online. And by 2020, that was no longer a conversation where maybes were involved. It was a conversation where it's like, hey, we have to get online now. So that's what we did. We helped a lot of businesses get online in many different industries. And by 2023, we started to really niche ourselves down. We decided like, hey, having this broad spectrum approach is fantastic, but niching ourselves down, really defining what it is we do and who we do that for and how we do it well, what those results look like, that's more important than anything else. So that's what we did. And it worked. And now we're in 2026 with 2027 right around the corner and 2028 not far behind it. And a lot of the clients that I'm working with now, the business owners in many different industries, namely private money, private equity is a huge industry for us, the real estate industry as well. They're not seeing the same results from the approaches they were taking in 2022, working in 2026. They're not seeing the same gurus and coaches giving the same kind of advice that they were in 2022, 2023, now in 2026. That's natural. It's part of the change of things. But when I was working with the businesses in 2025, there was a lot of talk about what's going to happen, what's coming next. So for me, as an individual, as a business owner, as a solopreneur, that's always in the back of my mind. I'm always trying to figure out what's next for us and what does that look like? What's the tangible results? What are the actual actions that can take place to get to those results, to get to that point? And so, me being a solopreneur, wearing as many hats as I have worn, I discovered that in my business, the best way for us to achieve the results we're looking to achieve is not just by delegation, but also by automation. Okay? We had a lot of different service packages going out from many different industries. And it's really hard to organize a lot of those different data points that are coming in, really hard to understand the best way to use that data without having a system that can track that, manage that, organize that, and then let you know what's possible. And we weren't the only ones struggling with that in our business. Like I said, other businesses were struggling with that as well. Private equity was struggling with that. Real estate, property management, automotive, hospitality, even the creative industry, where we have creators who are producing physical or digital products, are still having these same kinds of system issues. So, with the network that I was able to accumulate, with the knowledge and experience that I have had over the course of the past decade, that brings us to the X-Ponential Potential Keynote. That brings us to today. And I've taken a lot of courses. I've taken a lot of, at least I've spent a lot of hours in what people call YouTube University myself, on a lot of different topics. And there's one thing that I really love about certain courses and keynotes, and things I really don't like about them so much, maybe. And what I really love is when these courses, these gurus, these videos, they give you action. At the end of the video, you know what to do. You know the next step to take. So when putting together this keynote today for all of you, that was a very important part of making sure that this is valuable, is making sure that you have something to take with you. So that's what I hope you guys get from this. Thank you so much for listening to this portion of the keynote. Please stay with us. In the next section, we're going to hit the actual main keynote talk, everybody. So thank you so much for listening so far, and I look forward to talking with you here again in a second.